All right, what's going on, everybody? 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins here on a Friday afternoon. Hope you're doing okay. I've been better, but I'm doing all right. I'm hanging in there. Wanted to talk to you about the tropical update here for the weekend because you've probably heard a lot's going on here, right? Or at least potentially is going on. We now have 3 waves that we're tracking, but let's start off right off the bat. We're fine through Labor Day weekend. We're probably fine most of next week as well. But interest in the Northeast Islands, especially the Lesser Antilles, would have to watch for that moisture getting in there by Monday of this upcoming weekend. So we're talking Labor Day. Let's just talk about it. I'm going to make this kind of quick today. I'll also be trying to find you on here so I can get your questions. There it is. That's what I needed to see. So if you have questions, I'll be checking those out as well. Maria, how are you? Good to see you. Linda, Linda, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Tell your man I said hello up there. All right, so let's talk about what we have right now. Just now, well, not just now, but this afternoon, the Hurricane Center has actually given this little area here near Texas and Louisiana a 20% chance of developing, a little 10 to 20% chance over the next several days, right? We're really, this low is just sitting here. It's quite a bit of moisture. The deal with this is the more that it sits out over water and it can organize, and you're almost starting to see a little spin there now, the better chance that it can develop. Otherwise, I mean, look, this is already throwing rain onto Louisiana, even parts of Northeast Texas. But this has to be watched. It does look like either way it will stay in this area and eventually pull to the north as we go through Labor Day weekend. So that kind of soggy for those folks. Florida's looking good. We've got some moisture offshore. We've got this east wind, so we'll be getting afternoon storms each day this weekend. Now, let's talk tropics. Let's get way out here to our first wave. This one, it's okay looking, right? Here are the islands over here. This will actually try and be in this area by Monday. Starting to see a little bit of rotation here, not a whole lot, but up to about a 40% chance of development with this particular wave at this point. And then we've got, well, I want to say another wave coming off Africa. We actually kind of have 2. We've got this one that just came off, and then there's this little one in here, and some of the models differentiate between the 2 and want to try and do something with them. So let's start real quick with the models. And in fact, I'm going to go right to the Hurricane Center forecast, and you can see this is the area that has a 10 to 20% chance. Basically, slow development is possible if it remains offshore, okay? It's basically going to hang out in that area. This area here, and this is the one that's a little bit more concerning because it gets it into the Caribbean, right? Anything down in here typically is, well, it's either going to come full west and get into Central America, or it's going to turn to the north sometime. And obviously, Florida's right here, so we would prefer it if it didn't get into the Caribbean, but this one's coming that direction. There's the one that's near the Cape Verde Islands now, and you can see that one looks like it has about a 20% chance of developing. Now, let's talk forecast models. This is the European version of the Ensembles. Austin, how you doing? Fiaz, Christy, good to see everybody. Abdul, this area you see near Cuba and Puerto Rico, all of this. This is wave that's sitting right here now doing something like this, right? But look at the spread in the model. So it's thinking it could be anywhere from out here east of Florida or anywhere it actually runs into the Yucatan, okay? That's a big spread. But because that we have it, you know, I mean, look at this. If you live in Florida and you see all those models, I mean, you have to keep an eye on it, right? Timing on this, September 8th, 7th or 8th would be down here. That's next weekend. So we've got a ton of time to watch it, and these models are going to change as we get closer and closer. This is the GFS version. It just doesn't do a whole lot. I mean, look at this. It doesn't do much at all with the system. It keeps it weak, and it takes it off to the west. And that's kind of the same, weaker wester. That's what I say, right? The weaker that this system is, the further west it will go. Once it tries to develop a little bit, then it can come a little bit further to the north. So the GFS clearly thinks that this is going to be a weak system as it takes it almost all the way across. It has had some recurves, something like this. There's a lot less on it right now in the latest run than what we've seen. You can see the secondary waves, or wave, one here, potentially one here. They look like they do want to recurve, according to the GFS, which would be fantastic news, right? All right, here's the main run of the GFS. This is Monday, and you can see right there in the islands, this is St. Martin area, right? Puerto Rico is sitting right here. But this is where we think it could be. Doesn't look like it's very well organized, okay? Now let's come out in time. Let's go out to Wednesday. Ugh, you don't even see it. It's somewhere down here near Puerto Rico, near Cuba. And then we get out towards a week from today, and you're just starting to see something show up right here over Jamaica. All right, that's a week from today, and this is the GFS model. And then we'll go further out in time, and you can see it tries to come across western Cuba, right in this area here, right? And then up into the Gulf of Mexico. You know, yesterday this thing had it right over top of Tampa. Today it's further to the west. This, let me mind you, is way out. That's a week and plus out in time. Way far out in time for forecast models, but gives you an idea. Here's the Europeans version. Okay, the European takes the wave that's here, takes it through here, and then there it is as a bigger system. All right, we're actually getting new data in now, but you can see it near Puerto Rico. That's Monday night. Get it towards Hispaniola by Wednesday night. Western Cuba, Yucatan by Saturday, so a week from tomorrow, and then it turns into the Gulf. Now, this, even if this were to happen, something we'd have to watch because that's a pretty good front coming through right there. We'd try and pick it up. But you get the idea. We're safe for the next several days. Let me show you some ideas here of how these ensemble works, all right? Mike, Michelle, no problem. David, good to see from you. What I'm showing you now, this is the GFS ensemble, and you're going to see a bunch of lows pop up. So you see how you have a low here, a low here, and a low here. That's the model. That's different runs of the model overlaid over top of each other, right? So what I see from this is that the model altogether is thinking something's lowering the pressure in this area, something out here, perhaps right here, right? And so this is a better way of looking. This is this, essentially. See all these different lines that you see here? Those are different lines of the model. This is another way of showing you that and which way it thinks it's going. So the GFS is trending a little bit here to the west or to the north, like a turn with these ones that I just showed you. But you see these pop up here. This is that one coming weak, and then potentially getting something as it goes further to the west. All right, that's the GFS. Here's the European version of that. And it's probably not going to go out that far because this is the latest run. Let me take you back a run. Bottom line, look, here's this. This is Tuesday night, and you can see it somewhere south of Puerto Rico. We've got our second one out here. So again, plenty of time to watch this. This run's just coming in, so I'll back up a run and show you what the full run looked like. It brought it up here, and then now we've got to go out one more to show you what this one did. Eastern Gulf. I mean, look. I mean, that's in the Bahamas. That's in Florida. That's in western Florida. That's now into the western Gulf of Mexico. It's in the Texas. It's all over the place, right? So we just don't know exactly what's going to go on with this thing right now. We just know we have to keep an eye on it. So don't get too worried about things as we get going over the upcoming weekend. This is a look at probability from the European model. This is probability for tropical depression. You can see definitely something trying to pop up here. That's our first wave, right? We do not have an invest on this yet. Once we do, then we'll get spaghetti models, you know, the spaghetti plots that you like to see. But even just looking at this, you can kind of see the trend. It's pretty typical, right? Yeah. And then here in the Western Gulf as well. So that's where we're looking at. And before I let you go, are we still dealing with African dust? Great question, David. We are a little bit, but it has dried up a little bit. That's the good news. We haven't seen a ton of that. Well, I shouldn't say that. We've been seeing quite a bit of it. But the dust is starting to thin out a little bit. I want to bring your attention to here. This column, let's look right down here. In between those red lines, maybe a little bit to that. But this is September 4th. This is October 4th. where you see the green here, see this green in this area here, obviously in there and there and there, that's when we have a little bit of extra lift in the atmosphere. And so essentially, look, we're getting into September this weekend, right? Essentially, we're getting into a favored time anyways, but the MJOs, what you're looking at, the Madden-Julian oscillation, is going to be in a phase where we're going to have extra lift in the atmosphere. So we just expect that we're going to be busy for the month of September. Doesn't mean we're going to get hit, doesn't mean anything like that. It just means that conditions are already favorable with warm air and light shear, but this will make it even a little bit more favorable. So I do expect stuff to be popping. Okay, let's get you back out to this. I'll try and answer a couple questions before I let you go here. Caleb, any thought timing that could bring the system further north if it strengthens? Caleb, if I guess you're talking about the main one, right? The leading one. It would be, as I mentioned, it would be south of western Cuba potentially, maybe, just maybe, by September 7th. So a lot of time to watch it, and that's next weekend. All right. Hey Irene, how you doing? Marilyn, how you doing? No, Marilyn, no worries. We're all good. We're all good. Let me see if I can see some other questions here. Michelle, good to hear from you. Bill, good to see you. So that's it, guys. I will let you go. If you have any other questions, and if you're watching me on YouTube right now, I'll go ahead and check the comments there as well. But no, look, nothing to worry about for this upcoming weekend, but certainly something you want to stay abreast of over the next week. Well, really, for the next month or so at least. But just keep checking back in because things will slowly develop through next week after you get back from vacation, whatever you're doing for Labor Day. Things will actually start to get a little bit more active. And so they can change, so you just want to stay abreast of the situation. Good thing that we're looking good for the holiday weekend. Hi from a new home in North Carolina. Laura, how are you? Good to see you. Where are you in North Carolina, Laura? Jackie, how are you doing? Good to see you too. Laura says, hi from my new home in North Carolina. Curious where you were. I lived in Wrightsville Beach forever, Wilmington area, and then Newbern for 6 years, and then down here. So, all right, that looks good. Hope you guys have a great weekend coming up. Enjoy it. Spend that time with your family and friends if you can.